This PLL Picks Week 3 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Coach June Jones, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
As a Redwoods, look at this. As a Redwoods fan, I'll go what? As a Redwoods fan, I'm disgusted.
What now, Ryan? What now?
I wish I was given the full skinny of how this league operated before I brought my allegiance out here to the West Coast. Not only was there a hose job by the officials, clearly avoiding a review job that I don't want to hear anything from CJ right now. He's not on the show yet. But also, when I look at the schedule this week, you got one team from California. They happen to be playing at 9:30 Pacific time.
Man. Look out.
The fuck are we doing? Anyway, good to be here, Sean.
Joining us as well, the king of chaos, CJ Chaos Sullivan. What's happening, CJ, aka the man in the box? Oh, sorry. Here we go.
I even waited for my cue this time, and you played the wrong one.
I clipped your theme song.
I got your stick, CJ.
Thank you.
That's what she said.
I was just going to make a call out that I'm like, should I go back and get my stick, because I was so excited for the chaos gear that came in.
Yeah,
because I have the black and red, even though red hats usually are
You're taking the red hats back,
right? Bring it up. Exactly. That's what chaos is. Bringing. I was trying to make some kind of acronym, but the MAGA, but bringing the hat back, bringing the red hats back, MAGA with the chaos. Then you had your Caleb Williams acronym that got me mixed up. Point is, big weekend chaos. And first of all, Kramer, your California Redwoods marquee TV game of the week. So let's not complain too much. I mean, you're a California guy. You should know you got to get up for the networks, for the cameras. When they say the game's on TV at 9, you get up at 9. Right?
I mean, I see what's going on here. I will say I'm starting to get a little bit of a need a bet detective. Maybe we'll do a little deep dive.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
I remember when I uncovered that the entire league in the XFL last version was owned by the same person, and that collusion job that was being covered up by ESPN and the major networks.
And that person was The Rock, right?
Yeah, The Rock owned them all.
You figured it out.
They're out to cut down your woods. You guys are bearing the leads. It's a Waterdogs homecoming coming off the bye, and we have to address our. Well, maybe this is a good time to bring on our guests. Before we do that, of course, shout out to the featured show this week, the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. Get you covered for the College World Series, and of course, Circa Survivor, Circa Millions. If you guys haven't signed up yet, we are going to be doing a sign up weekend. We got a whole thing planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. But sign up with our proxy, and you get $50 off football contest. Proxy.com, promo code SGP. Joining us on the line from the Bet on Lacrosse podcast, Dan Newby Alexander. Newby, what's happening, man?
Boys. Kramer, I'm gonna tell you what. It's starting to make sense why our California Redwoods were lined at 3.5 wins. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to add up after the jobbing that we got at the hands of the refs. And now they get to play a 9 a.m. clock game against the undefeated, against the spread. It's starting to add up. It's starting to add up for me, Crane.
I'm glad that you're bringing it up as well. I don't want to seem like the crazy guy, like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory.
I had a theory that maybe after going scoreless for 12 minutes, the last thing we wanted you guys is to have the ball for an additional 30 seconds. It was kind of torture. Like, let's see maybe if you can play better with the other side.
Don't you dare argue with logic right now. We're trying to move
How dare you use stats?
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to move some refs or terrorist
Yeah,
shirts. here.
hit up the refs or terrorist shirts in the merch store. Newbie, we got to talk about our MVP bet because this was an unfortunate turn of events because going into week 1, CJ threw out Brennan O'Neill, the protege. Hey, this rookie. Oh, but hey, maybe it's a little crazy to bet on a rookie MVP. We decide in the group text we're gonna fire on Brennan O'Neill MVP. Oh no, we missed the cutoff because they took off the futures market like 15 minutes before the game started. Hey, no big deal. We'll bet on it week 2. But week 2, his odds go to 100-1. And I tell myself, oh no, you don't need some more 100-1s. We get in on Rob Pennell and then Brennan O'Neill with the game of his freaking life. What was it? 6 goals. 8 points, come from behind victory. The Outlaws win in overtime. I mean, it was exciting lacrosse, and luckily at least I did have the Brennan O'Neill higher goals, and tied with the Rob Pennell higher goals on underdog. So that was easy money. Yeah. But we missed the boat, unfortunately, on his MVP chances. What do you make of the MVP market? Because right now, the guy for the Atlas, Teat, is still the massive favorite.
Sure.
What do you make of it? And I saw O'Neill for Rookie of the Year. He's only like plus 150, which seems crazy to me. What's your makeup of the future market right now?
Yeah, I think Brennan O'Neill and Connor Schellenberger, they're going to be duking out the Rookie of the Year. It's going to go back and forth. And now we're going to have a bye week for Brennan O'Neill. Then Schellenberger probably is going to have a big week this weekend. So that's going to keep bouncing back and forth. I mean, both of them at plus 115. I'm not giving the book my money to hang on to for a plus 115 either way. You know what I mean? But the real ridiculous part to me is, again, 2 weeks through the season, what Jeff Teat is doing is amazing. Don't get me wrong, 18 points, leading all scorers, but all of the players leading in statistical categories are the Atlas players right now. So, like, how are you going to tell me he's an MVP when their entire team is at the top of the league? And yes, we lost a lot of value, 100-1 on Brennan O'Neill, but dude, if this guy keeps doing what he's doing, PLL loves the story. 15-1 isn't awful. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be kicking ourselves that we thought that he was out week 1 and screwed us. But 15-1 shot still ain't bad, boys.
Absolutely not. I will jump off a bridge if he wins the MVP.
Well, we decide we're rooting for him to have a non-serious injury, just something that's going to keep him out for a couple of games. He'll be back for the playoffs.
Maybe he just got a new day job that has no Fridays
let's get this dude a foot in the door at JP Morgan. Get him a respectable 9 to 5.
The internship finally got around to his resume. They need him for a training on Friday. Kramer and I were racking our brains like, did they not have work for home for the guy who missed out on one of the games?
Brutal.
But fun part of the league here.
It's the best part.
And you're right. Schellenberger's right up there as well with O'Neill and our boy Pennell. I know he's still sitting at basically the same thing we got him at, but he's played well so far. And again, the Atlas having these extra games, kind of it's an interesting handicap, certainly from the market, right? Because I think, I don't know who the traders are on these legalized books, but I feel like they're not factoring that in.
They're not watching all the games
when they're setting some of these odds, right?
So interestingly enough, when it was Canby who was still putting up the odds for some of these guys, I had a buddy who worked there, and he goes, dude, if you keep firing on these lacrosse plays, you're going to get my friend in the cubicle next to me fired. So I can tell you that they don't really have their top men like Indiana Jones. We have top men on it. Top men. I'm not really sure if they have top men writing up these lines, but I'm with you. And it's also because of the structure of how this is that there's teams who have 2 games a weekend, and there's teams already that have had bye weeks here. Just trying to extrapolate what's going to happen in the future market. That's why I find having somebody at minus odds this early in an MVP market, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And it's also a guy who historically starts hot and then peters off a little bit.
Yeah, and our Pennell ticket. I mean, he's played in one game and he did have 4 points.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, he's off to a decent
And
start.
who knows? He could have maybe goal of the game turns the tides completely. If not for that hose job at the end, they're looking back at that like, wow, what a turning point for our leader and future MVP.
And he's gonna have his guy next to him, Crane. Chris Gray should have Saturday off. If they have him in the office on Saturday and he's not playing again, that's gonna be a problem for us, and we may have to rethink our futures. But with Chris Gray back in the lineup, I'm telling you, that's 3 assists guaranteed almost every game. That's how strong of a finisher Chris Gray is going to be, and the guy feeding him is going to be Rob Pennell at X. So it still has legs. He needs to make up some ground, and the Redwoods have to get some games in the win column here. But if they make the playoffs, if they can get off the snide a little bit, that will be a live ticket. I'm telling you.
Well, and of course, obviously, I bleed purple and white or purple and black, whatever it is with my
today.
Waterdogs.
I do as well.
Yeah, and appreciate it. I saw, you're doing that for the Philly Waterdogs home. Oh, that is
sick hat.
Whoa!
I instantly am very jealous.
Corduroy.
Right
Look at that. That is
Look at the logo on the side.
Oh, come on.
That's nice stuff.
Sharp.
That is sharp. That is a sharp hat. My thing is with the Waterdogs, the future price now it's plus 650. Now I think I'm adding a little bit more because they lost 1 game to the defending champs by 1 goal. Now they got 2 games. They go 2-0. Their futures price is going to be like back to 350, 375, 400 in that range. I think there's a lot of value in taking, especially early in the season where the back-to-back I think doesn't hurt them as much, taking some of these homecoming teams on the futures market with the idea that like, hey, if they get the 2-0, that is going to make a crazy impact on their future price, right?
1,000%. And this is also one that I would suggest that you shop around on. I mean, I'm just looking at one of the other books there, and you can get as high as 650. My man Hutton Jackson, I'm going to shout him out with what we do on Bet on Lacrosse. Every single week after the conclusion, he lets you know which book has the longest odds for any team. So if you're someone who's building a futures portfolio, he's dropping, like Redwoods, they're 10-1 right now. So there is plus 650 out there on the Waterdogs, but I'm right there with you, man. Like, this is a team who is always around the championship conversation. The championship is held in Philadelphia. They have a strong netminder, and also exactly like you said, with how these bye weeks are, like teams get forgotten because there's big moments for these other teams, and then you're just getting these crazy odds shift, and it's going to continue all season long, especially with after this weekend, there's going to be a little bit of a league-wide bye coming up here. So that's really going to be where I'll probably start firing on some more futures here.
So and also it's great to have Newbie on, obviously very, very educated when it comes to the lacrosse world, but also knows to call them netminders. I've been I guess I'm the asshole who calls them goalies. Yeah. Is it?
Well, it's just a different way to sprinkle it in there. You know what I mean? Like hockey netminder just sounds cool.
It does. I didn't know if I was making a lacrosse faux pas calling him a goalie.
No. He's just showing you his deep.
My vocabulary. I read a thesaurus before I came on. I know I got to class up when I come on with you guys. So I was, just showing the vernacular.
I like that.
Don't reveal our secrets. Me and Newbie know the lingo.
Yes.
You two are just learning. Yes. We know that it's not a.
We got to teach him.
We
got to teach him.
CJ.
Yeah, and hopefully, Newbie has the good picks this week.
Oh yeah, there was some. CJ's like, Newbie comes on, and then I see he loves this Outlaws.
And this is a shout. This is a shout out to Newbie's X account. Give him a follow. He's a good follow. But he was talking about how he's hammering this Denver over as soon as it comes out. So wait, smash. That was his whale play, his real whale play.
Well,
and we get the
maybe he doesn't like
get the mini beluga.
Yeah.
Well, and
we get the Free Willy 3 play, which comes in later on.
Oh.
Well, Kramer, I should have stood up to Kramer's cyberbullying. I would have went 2-0 on my locks, but I got cute and I put the Whipsnakes in there instead of I had the Outlaws over in there. And Kramer's like, "Oh, you're a totals guy. You got me self-conscious, made me feel bad." I caved to the pressure. Newbie.
It's a baby fucking whale, man.
What do you like for the baby whale, mega whale lock of the week for PLL picks week 3? What do you got?
For the Free Willy break me out of SeaWorld play, baby beluga, Player props, boys. We're going back to it. 1-1. So let's make it 2-1 this week. We're actually going to be looking at game 2 for the Waterdogs this weekend. And we're looking at Zed Williams of the Maryland Whipsnakes over 2.5 points. 2 straight games for a man nicknamed Zeddy Ball Game with 2 points, despite taking 6 shots in each of them. He might not be the same player that he was when he had his MVP season back in 2020, but if the Whips are going to right the ship, Zeddy Ball Game coming alive would definitely help. This is a guy who I know you guys will like this. He spent a decent portion of the summer practicing with the Buffalo Bills at their mini camp, trying out as an outside linebacker. So this is a guy who's trying to get back into lacrosse form. We know that nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, but nobody had a better game against the Waterdogs last season than Zed Williams. 22 points on the year. 7 of them came in his lone meeting against those Waterdogs. I still want my doggos to win the game. Don't get me wrong. But we're going with Zed Williams over the 2.5 points. Minus 130 is what it's at right now. There you go. Free Willy. There you go.
Yes. Yes. All right. That was almost
Kramer, note the time code. We're gonna get that drop in there.
Josh is on it.
That was amazing.
It sounds like Zed might be the Boston Scott, where he just has the Giants number. He's just gonna get those points. All right, newbie. Appreciate you as always getting us started for PLL picks. Make sure you follow Newbie on X at NeubyTalks and check him out on the Bet on Lacrosse podcast and as well as at PLL Bet. Appreciate it, Newbie. Best of luck, man.
Yeah, check it out on Twitter for when the good picks come out. We'll have the good picks for you over at NeubyTalks. Appreciate you guys. Let's have some fun this weekend, gents.
Sure. Let it ride. All right, kicking it over to Underdog Fantasy. Yes, get you that promo code SGPN over at UnderdogFantasy.com. Get you a special pick and the deposit match up to $250 in bonus cash. And yes, they do have your Lax Lads, aka Premier Lacrosse League, is available. I'm seeing Zed Williams fantasy projection 2.5 points, so you can take it higher without having to lay some sort of crazy juice. So
already got it locked in.
Perfect way to start off. And I'll be honest, I've been taking some of the stuff we've been hearing on lacrosse, and Underdog's great about offering a bunch of like in-game specials or in-game specials or like special picks for that day. You know, it's Kyrie higher a 0.5 point. And you could just pop it right next to Zed Williams, higher 2.5 points. And also shout out to Daily Dog Podcast hosted by Britton Monday through Friday, giving you all the podcast is he just gives you out his favorite 3 Underdog fantasy picks. So check that out as well. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Kramer, let's talk some lax.
All right, so a couple things. I've started. I'm going to reveal the data after next week when we have a proper amount of data. But I thought it would be interesting to take a look at how many teams have to take to the road and actually play the homecoming team. Because this week Boston and Maryland are doing it for the second time on the season already.
That is interesting. Well, and also too, I think
there's no way they have enough brain, like not to be disrespectful, but they don't have enough brain power.
No one is factoring that in, and even
to be thinking about that when they're building the schedule.
No, and even it's certainly not factored in. I don't think into the pricing, and I love Newbie's angle too about like the shots on, like if you actually just look on the shots on goal, guys like that are getting hot that maybe have not, didn't get in the net. Good opportunities there.
It's almost like a little copy paste because Boston was the opening game for New York in the first weekend, and Maryland, of course, played the second game in week 1 against New York. So maybe they're just an either or scheduling situation. They're also taking a new approach. Maybe it's let's not compete with the US Open the whole time approach, but they're splitting the games apart for the first weekend. So we don't have back-to-back games on Saturday. First one, 9:30 a.m. Maybe you put the golf all around the PLL on God's Eye. That would look pretty good. Boston Cannons taking on the Philadelphia Waterdogs. Minus 1.5 for your Waterdogs, Sean. But plus 120 there on that one. That's nice. So far, I will say the spread bets would be just diabolical to be on because the runs in these games, it's very NBA-esque. I wouldn't want to lay the points in any case. Plus 1.5 for the Cannons, -150. Money line right kind of down the middle, -105 for the Cannons. Philly -115. 25.5 is the total. Well, I would say we. Do you know where we're playing, Sean?
We're playing in Philly.
Yeah, where in Philly?
I
little
would
quiz.
say Villanova.
Villanova
is
Football
correct.
Stadium is correct.
Yep.
Which
Great program.
you know,
go.
I like to inform everyone of who actually plays here. It's just Villanova.
Yeah.
So the Philadelphia Charge of the Women's U.S. Soccer League in 2001 to 2003 played here, and also the MLL, which was, I believe, a predecessor. We want the other league, the Philadelphia Barrage. Which what an interesting name that is. Very Bullets like. Sean, you're
Yes.
going to take the Waterdogs.
100%,
So I'll let CJ start.
Okay.
Real quick before I start, I have many of the gambling nicknames of Meth Detective and Scumbagger Vance this weekend.
I like
for the,
Scumbagger Vance
for the U.S. Open. I like to. I don't. Sometimes I'll even stow away. I'll even give out nicknames because I like everyone for the community, and I think I got one for Newbie there.
Oh, let's
really?
hear it.
Yeah. And then since he gives out the whale plays and he is the guru of it, the
Moby Dick.
the Oracle.
Oh yeah. All right.
All right, we need a graphic.
The Oracle. I like that.
Pretty amazing.
It's a baby fucking
and
wheel, man.
His whale sound effect, which kind of
that's what I mean.
Kind of sound like a dolphin. Either way, it is getting loaded onto the
That's what
soundboard.
inspired me. His dolphin sound effect for a whale. We might as well call it an orca. Which is the bigger.
Kind of felt like it was a whale having sex.
Right.
maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a whale hammering some PLL plays.
a
Which
whale.
creates
Yeah.
with the Oracle.
Well, yeah, the Oracle is pretty solid. Well, just Will Ferrell sitting there with his white hair. The Oracle. All right.
I love this game. I love Philly in this game. First of all,
Of course.
I was on Boston last week. They had a big dub as a dog versus these Whipsnakes. I don't mind the Boston team. I like was it 25.5?
25.5 is the total.
I think it's going to be a big homecoming weekend for the Waterdogs. Michael Sowers,
Ooh.
who is from Philly, went to Upper Darby. He said he's going to have at least 100 people to tailgate there at Villanova. he lives in Philly. He goes out to Upper Dublin, 45-minute drive for Eagle games, with the fam. Read all about them.
That's all. I mean, that's the crowd, right? If you can get 100 people there,
that's what I
rowdy,
mean.
it's your crowd.
Boston, of course, had my other MVP candidate, Asher Nolting, who is he's big. He's got 10 points so far in the season.
Yeah,
he's got big and speed. So I think I like a lot of points coming up. Philadelphia, it was a slow start, rematch game. Kind of reminded me of when the Eagles opened up the link with the revenge game versus Tampa Bay after Tampa Bay ended the vet end of season and then won the Super Bowl. We had them on Monday night to start the next year. Like, it's gonna be a great revenge. Same thing happened. Joe Jaravicious. It was too much pressure for us. Stallone was there, even though he's not from Philly, doing a Rocky thing, and then we lose. That's what we did. So it was too much thinking about it. Losing to Utah, Philly is still probably one of the top 3 teams in the league. I think they're going to flex out against Boston for -115.
Doesn't Boston suck?
They're not too bad.
Why do we think Boston's good?
Right.
Because they beat the worst team in the league.
Yeah, but they only put up. I mean, you could say they only scored 13 goals against the Whipsnakes, which I think is not a great output. They only put up 12 in their loss against the Atlas.
I'll be officially putting out my power rankings after this week.
Yeah.
So since we'll have enough data at that point. And I'm telling you right now, Boston's going to be very close.
I don't think
to the
they're that
bottom.
good. I think this
7 right now.
I mean, the homer aside, I think this is a smash spot.
That's what I'm talking about.
For the Waterdogs. What's your take on the total, CJ? Because I do kind of think 25.5.
It's a high number.
Am I missing something here? Because I it's calling out the under.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston 12, 13. I think Philly can play some defense, decent goalie. Like the under to me is the way to go on the total.
Unders in week 1 go 1-3.
Yep.
Then they go 2-2.
Yep.
You see the trend?
3-1.
Yep. Loading. It does seem like an under game. It also seems, again, I'm going to lean into I making opinions on teams. I think Boston's not a good team, and I think Philly is a good team. The money line is being disrespectful right now.
Let's go.
And host teams getting the whistle. We saw this last week. Host teams winning their
Friendly whistle. Yeah.
winning the opening game. And we learned last week that, was it you that shared this with us? that the ref has gear in the store, or was that newbie telling us that?
Yeah, they said the
ref had gear in the store. This guy.
They try and promote the refs.
Is he
in this
bigger
league
than
for
the
some
league?
reason. The under is 4-2 in this matchup since 2021.
Nice trend, Sean.
No, thank you. And shout out to Newbie. Does a ton of good work. Sends us a bunch of good data over here. And of course, Waterdogs did end the Cannon season. I mean, they destroyed them 17-6. Could be a bloodbath here. I think they really match up well on the defensive side. So like the under, like the Dogs.
You see how he flexed that sicker hat than the one that you have?
I did have immediate a lot of envy.
You need another round of hats.
I do. I'm gonna get some.
Get some more hats.
He probably bought a bunch of those hats with all the winnings he gets from the plays he doesn't give us and our listeners.
I know. I will say,
CJ holding them accountable.
I like how we word got back to him quickly.
Yeah.
So
the whole time, I'm not gonna.
He did text me, LOL, saving the good plays.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna spoil it. I know what he's gonna say, for his hot play. I'm almost like, hey, I know you like this lean, and thank God I didn't. I mean, luckily I'm a veteran of the showbiz, and I know how to handle let them be in the moment.
He brings the Andy Reid Week 3 game plan to this show.
Yeah,
not the divisional round.
Speaking of which, real quick, there was a lot of football players at Carolina's homecoming last week. Not just Pac-Man Jones, but in the stands, Chuba Hubbard, a lot of Panthers.
Who, by the way, fantasy update, sounds like Jonathan Brooks not going to be ready.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, I love Chuba.
If you can stand the fact that he's not probably great and their offense isn't great, like he's going to get an insane workload, right?
Well, I think that's what's also helping us. So for some reason, there's some notable nerds who are anti-Chuba Hubbard. Must not be familiar with the work he did with Matt Rule's wife, but
Matt Rule's wife was like, we have to get Chuba Hubbard.
14th round for a starting running back. You can do worse in best ball.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
I know some sharps who love the Carolina Panther offense. We won't need to get into that.
That's even crazier.
Also, just watching, of course, youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast. It's tough now to imagine CJ without a Carolina Chaos hat. Kramer. Like I'm trying to imagine.
He looks really
what
good
he normally has because that red hat is just really sharp on
it's
him.
power.
Last week, of course, was the Rob Lowe yellow on yellow league wide, which I'm going to break out for the Carolina bye week. When I'm just a supporter of the
yellow
league.
gear is so elite.
All right, what else we got?
So now we take a nap. We watch the U.S. Open, and we come back to our TVs at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, where the Utah Archers and the Carolina Chaos see each other on the battlefield. Minus 1.5 for the Archers here in a potential bounce back spot. Minus 105 there for that. Chaos plus 1.5 is minus 115. Plus 130 on the money line. Archers minus 160. 24.5 is the total, which seems on the low side, but not a totals guy. So CJ, I'll let you lead out. Why are your Chaos gonna? This is a tough spot for your Chaos, by the way.
Yeah, I mean Utah. If you didn't watch the game, it was awesome. Brendan O'Neill just went fucking nuts and put the team on his back. Scored 6 goals in the game and had the game-winning goal in overtime. Overtime sudden death, which is pretty electric for games that have this much scoring. So this feels like, okay, that was a wake-up call for the Archers. They're going to come in firing on your Chaos, unfortunately, CJ.
Yeah.
But, on the other side, Utah has been 0-2 ATS, coming in as favorites both times.
And you'll know real quick, this game could be at 4 p.m. There's discrepancies based on the sites, but
are they flexing it already?
You'll notice how the Mountain Time Zone team was given some courtty of playing a later game for the body.
Did see that, Ryan?
Pretty interesting.
Since 2021,
they're the champs.
Archers are 3-4 straight up NATS versus the Chaos. So Chaos have held their own.
Yeah.
Against this Archers team, but the spot does make me concerned for your Chaos, CJ.
It's a disrespectful line, I'll tell you that much. Well, all of a sudden we think there's going to bounce back.
Yeah,
much like the Las Vegas Aces, the ladies who are on a losing streak, so they think they're going to keep. They're going to have to bounce back and win. No, they don't. They don't have to bounce back. Now when Chaos is coming. Now, I don't know the status of of our man, the goalie of Blaze.
I think
Oh, okay.
we should have asked Newbie.
I don't think there's a way to find out. That's the thing.
Newbie's got the bat phone.
They're getting the ticker on any kind of injury updates, work schedule updates on these guys for their other jobs.
He's got to cover someone's shit.
Right, exactly. But that's why I do have positive things with Carolina, because they are 2-1. They did lose to that wagon that is New York on the second end of the doubleheader. I'm
kind of willing to start throwing these homecoming losses, the road homecoming losses out potentially.
I mean,
the way the refs treat those games
at night. But you're right. Utah coming off that loss is going to be tough. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row though, where Utah had big leads and they blew them. Now they didn't let the Waterdogs come all the way back and win, but they let them, bring it to a 1-goal game. And then thank God we were all laying to 2.5 last week versus Denver. And we're like, well, if you're going to not cover, then you might as well lose outright.
What a choke job.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And then, that's how good McNeil was. I think Duke's coach got fired by the more goals. But like, how did you not win a national championship with this guy?
Yeah.
This guy scored 10 goals in a professional league as a rookie.
I saw that in the Discord, and shout out to the PLL Discord. Some real hardcore.
Hashtag Legends Only.
And if you're wondering where I gave out that underdog fantasy play, right, it was in the PLL Discord. I didn't mention it, or maybe we talked about it on the show. Either way, I sent the screenshot to the PLL heads in there.
That's where you put all
Benedict Dantold's in there, Tactical Noob. But they were saying they had similar things to talk about of like, why were they not winning more games in college?
It's like watching Kentucky players in the NBA, like Devin Booker scored 50 points a game. Like, what? How did they not win a national championship every year with Calipari? But back to the chaos. This is their first time to be coming off a loss. I do not want to play this game because they love the doubters. That's what fuels them. You got Josh Byrne versus Connor Fields, two lefty Canadians going at it, dueling.
I like that.
I think the +1.5 is kind of the way to go, and it's very generous. And you can get a decent number at that. I mean, instead of taking the money line, I think Carolina has a good enough chance to win this as anything. But I'll take the 1.5 just because the way Utah has blown these leads. Carolina is not going to get blown up by anyone. A bounce back at night. I'd rather take the ball and a half with Carolina.
I'm with you. I'm going to take the chaos +1.5. I'm sold on this chaos defense. Yeah. I know they were tweeting out, the reworked defense has been pretty good, but they held the Woods to 11 goals.
Yeah,
and then before that, the Outlaws to 11, which at the time it was like, oh hey. And some of that was Blaze obviously in that game, but he left halfway through, right?
Those are 2 notes on that. One, they're personally responsible for getting his odds back up to 100 to 1 rookie of the year because they thought he's not gonna have a good season. No,
he's a rookie, but or he's good, but he's still a rookie.
He's still a rookie. No, he just faced the chaos.
But holding the Outlaws now in hindsight to 11 goals, that's a crazy outcome.
Absolutely.
So I think you're getting value on the +1.5. I think under 24.5 is really a sharp play as well. So I think the chaos defense is going to carry him to a competitive game.
And when chaos gets Blaze back, this is a future right now. I mean, this is a team that's learning to play without him. The offense, the young offense is coming into its own. When they get Blaze, and he is a dominant MVP type goalie, he's the greatest goalie in league history 4 times in a row. They're gonna be a problem.
Quote, how cockiness may have aided Andy Towers, head coach of the Carolina Chaos.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to follow,
he's like the Dan Campbell of lacrosse coaches.
It's excellent.
And his videos are amazing.
I was doing a quick deep dive on some coaches because it did seem like this Archers team won a championship last season, correct? But they did so with a different coach. And one has to wonder, why do we think this is a great team? What have they done? We became fans of this sport a couple weeks ago, Sean.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to be honest with the audience. What have we seen from this Utah Archers team that suggests that they are anything more than a mediocre team trying to find their way? They won by 1 goal against your Waterdogs in a game that you would say that a lot was left on the field maybe from your Philly squad.
Completely flat second halves in both games.
They lost basically to the worst team in the league who has the best, who allowed a player to go nuts. And so I'm not sure why this team is being given any respect. This might be the whale flipper dolphin sex play of the week. Cause yeah, I mean, I'm all in on this chaos team.
Kramer, are you taking the +1.5?
I'm going to take the money line.
All right.
Okay.
Take that candy.
I told you I'm not going to be a pussy all season and take these weird spreads.
I do like.
Good luck when you. I can't wait to hear how your experience was betting a spread in the PLL. I've identified this as it's a problem spot.
Ryan, you know what? You know where a problem spot for me was betting some NBA player props. I liked the other night. I liked Tatum over rebounds. I should have listened to Rhythm. Rhythm was on Tatum under assists and rebounds, and the entire world, including myself, were all over the overs. So you got to listen to the data sometimes. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. Get you set up. Get your free 7-day trial. Again, the projections are awesome. Their picks are very good. But really, what's been a cool feature for me is you can hit like, hey, make me a NBA player prop model, but then also you can customize it yourself. You can say like, hey, let's put in rebounding attempts, or I was working on an NFL model where I'm a big yards per attempt guy, and you can customize which stats in your own model. It's pretty sweet. I can't wait to dive completely into this, because building the models has been really fun. Get your free 7-day trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM to get some of the best player props and projections around. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM.
Rhythm, by the way, was all over Sam Hauser last night.
All
Really?
right.
Yeah.
And look at it.
Sam Hauser filled up stats.
I said, who saw that coming?
Right. Rhythm did.
Should have listened to Rhythm.
And I'll be honest, as someone who likes to focus on certain sports and not others, I'm certainly enjoying outsourcing prop data collection and research to a data scientist and AI.
Yes.
Sunday.
Let the computers do the heavy lifting.
Except for the NFL, I do all of that manually. Write my own queries. I do it analog. All right, 9:30. I might check to see what they have, but I know my stuff will be better. 9:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Can we confirm this is Father's Day?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Father's Day.
Your Father's Day gift, Ryan. Waking up to a Redwoods
See your
ass
woods.
kicking.
No chopping.
Waking up to just another negative advantage spot. We'll call it a disadvantage spot for my California Redwoods, as they have to play the early game on Sunday for some reason. We haven't confirmed this, but we do believe they will have a full roster, as it generally those JP Morgan
Usually get Sunday
those
off.
places generally don't work on the weekends, Sean.
Especially Father's Day.
New York Atlas, who are the chalk in the league, and somehow the Redwoods coming off a tight loss where they got hosed by the refs for a homecoming victory for the Chaos, have dropped to 12-1 in the futures market. Sean, this is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I will be picking up some more of that.
Well, and Newby mentioned his Hutton Jackson, is a partner on his podcast there. They threw out the idea of just firing on some of these long shots in the futures market, and we had a similar strategy in UFL. I mean,
how'd that treat us?
Great, because we're going in the UFL championship game, sitting on Stallions at 3-1 and Brahmas at 14-1.
That's pretty good.
Especially in an 8-team league, like you just have to do the math, especially if you're shopping around, and just take small sprinkles on some of these long shots. Our boy Rob Pennell could get right here. The Atlas might be a bit overrated. I 2.5 is crazy.
So the spread's 2.5 plus 100, minus 120 going back the other way. Redwoods on the money line are 2-1.
Wow.
Okay. Atlas minus 250. 26.5 is the total. There's a million reasons to think that the Atlas are overvalued in the market.
Yeah.
They've played more games. There's all these like TMZ reasons why someone might not understand why. And then on the other side, the Redwoods have played one game in which they were hyper competitive and got screwed by the refs to allow for a homecoming victory for the Chaos. Is this not the most obvious play on the board, Sean? Maybe you take the spread here. The 2.5 for the Outlaw worked out well. Maybe it's a system play. Anytime we get 2.5.
I mean, we've seen 1 2.5 point spread in this league.
It's 1-0,
and it covered, and they won outright. I'm actually going to take California outright.
You mean the dog won outright? Yes, correct.
I'm taking Redwoods on the money line at 2-1. I mean, this is a lacrosse game, and we have a 1 game sample, and you're giving me 2-1.
And California's getting their big offseason acquisition.
Yes, the guy doesn't
and they've
have
only
to
played
work.
1 game.
And I think the Atlas, while they've looked good, I think are certainly overinflated at this price. Now there's a chance the Redwoods could get their ass kicked, but I don't feel comfortable laying the 2.5 with the Atlas. It feels too chalky. I'm going to take the Redwoods on the money line at plus 200. I'm also going to take under 26.5 because I think.
Listen to the Atlas.
Could be a little competitive.
Atlas have played 2 homecoming games where they're given the home cooking, all that jazz. And then they caught the chaos on the second game
after a grudge match.
You want to talk about a team
with the Woods,
inflated, sell,
and they're New York 3-0 straight up and 3-0 ATS. Like it does feel.
It kind of This kind of reminds me of the Rams that when they came out with the Kurt Warner Rams. There's that first month they didn't know what to do. They were covering lines by 20, 30 points, and then they had that game at Tennessee, which they lost. One of their only losses. And it was finally the thing that brought it back down.
This is a great stat, courtesy of Newbie. Redwoods have been 2.5 point dogs twice since 2021. Both times
won outright
against the Atlas.
Oh, really?
Both times they won outright.
Oh.
Both outright, all caps. Caps lock that one. I got something for you too. Now, New York, of course, has been impressive, and I agree. They are definitely.
Are they number 1 in the power rankings right now?
I mean, it's hard to take away from what they've been doing, and they're lighting teams up too.
It's true.
Trevor Baptiste has been my MVP almost, if you will. He's 84% on faceoffs.
Oh wow!
It seems like everyone is really try to dismiss with the new rules how important faceoffs are. Faceoffs are pretty important.
Yeah, seems like they're super important.
And Baptiste has just been dominating.
You get the ball,
but California, as you know, as a Woods head, they have a guy named T.D. Lerlin who might be the only one in the league they say who can match Baptiste on the stripe.
Well, and he's what they call a face-off athlete.
Yeah, he's a face-off
because
athlete.
he will win that face-off, and he doesn't get scolded if he does stuff.
Yeah,
he will because if you remember last game, he won the face-off. They gave him the space because they assumed he was a handicapped player who was about to run off the field.
Yeah,
but he just ran down the field, did a little nice spin move. He kind of got stuck in a spot where he got lucky, bounced around, boom, goal. So he's a face-off athlete. Thank you for bringing that up.
And saying you can match him on the stripe is a good way to say they're good face-off battles. Kind of like net minders. It's kind of it's a nice thing to throw around.
Yeah,
on the game.
I like that.
It sounds sharp.
Yeah,
I do. CJ has resorted to a move where he just holds his holds his lacrosse stick over his shoulder, ready to throw down at any moment.
And then when you have points when you go to the offense, but on the other hand, you have to switch over. New York has a prolific offense for sure. They are absolutely locked in the zone. And Kramer, I mean, the conspiracy is alive with that. I don't like the spot time wise. Have we got flight confirmation on when are they coming in? Are they taking the red eye? I know they might have to work on a Saturday, then take a night in.
Is this like London? But we have to figure out.
Exactly.
Southwest said there's some thunderstorms.
No, they're on the cross country Amtrak. They left today.
These guys are hitching.
I don't love the body clock thing, but I think we have to. I think it's a trend. I think it's a trend. We're gonna just play the 2.5 point dogs.
Now we have to ask Newbie. Do these guys do they stay in California the entire time and then fly out each spot, or do they just hang out in that city for that week? Do they even bother going back to California?
I'm Googling where do the Redwoods practice. Let's see.
Do they practice? Do we know that?
They do practice because they follow me on. Well, by the way, I didn't break this news. But
Ryan's really feeling
hashtag roll. I found them following me the other day, so I'm part of the team basically.
Love it.
I'm trying to find where they practice. I don't. Oh my.
But that's a good point too,
Hold
Sean.
on.
Football. Are they packed for 6 weeks? They got to stay out there because they're not coming back to California for what?
Yeah, we'll have to
another couple of months.
Write this. This is a question for Newbie next time. Right. The Ask Newbie segment is going to be: do the teams go home?
Yes, we got to know more about the body clock. So Kramer, are you taking them 2.5, or are you just
all of it? But I told you I'm taking money lines.
Okay,
but this is, I think, to your point. This trend is so strong. I'm also going to play the 2.5. So you're on the under 26.5. Yes. And CJ, what officially are you going to do here?
I'll take the 2.5 with it. Just 'cause I don't like the early start for him, but I do like the money line outright as well. There's no way I can play New York at these numbers.
Assuming they've just taken a lot of action, that's why the money. That's why this stuff moves. Who's making these odds?
And the under 26.5. This is the highest total ever for these two teams.
This is a high, and this is high in general, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we see 26.5,
25.5 has
Right.
happened twice for the Redwoods. They went under both times. 26 is the highest ever for the New York Atlas, and they went under that. So
again, only one.
all right, can you make a case for the over? I get like a 14-13
like I said,
game.
they're like the Rams of that first year of '99, where they're putting up numbers. I mean, they're putting up absurd stats, but like we said, they were kind of situational. So I think California is going to be an angry team. They started off with a bye.
Yeah.
Then they had to come out with a rivalry game and get screwed by the refs, quote unquote.
There was a long drought for California in that game, but defense was being played.
Yeah, well,
and if you exclude the trash can Boston Cannons from the Atlas schedule, where they scored those 19 goals, and Maryland, they played the two worst teams in the league. I don't want to tease my power rankings, but they played the two worst teams in the league, and they put up all these goals, and everyone's celebrating them. Under.
California has droughts. That's what happens.
So under 26.5. I'll just take Cal on the money
I
line.
love it. You sound
Don't call them Cal. What is wrong with you?
What do you got?
You can call them California. You can call them the Redwoods. You can call them. You can say Rollwoods.
Rollwoods.
You can say Cali.
Robbie Pinnell's gonna get loose for a couple.
Cal. That's the worst thing you could have said.
we could use
All
a
right.
Pinell explosion.
So we do fortunately have games back to back on Sunday after the 9:30 a.m. early tip that they've boxed my Redwoods in on. We got a little noon action on the West Coast. It's the and this is interesting too, because like week 1, Philly getting the treatment where they get the maximum, or I'm sorry, this is now the first team. I'll say it again. This is the first team who gets the maximum space between their games.
Let's go.
So Philly gets the home championship game potentially. They get the best schedule on their homecoming. Interesting. Okay.
And they didn't get the Carolina treatment, who had early game.
Yeah,
Philly's getting the early, then the
late.
late, nice stretched out.
Yeah,
and
it pays to know the guys in the league office. Ask Kyle Roseman.
And I will say, how much better did the field look at night too? That Denver game, it was beautiful.
I completely agree. Let's find a way to make this a night sport. All right, Maryland, the Whipsnakes.
The Saturday Archers Chaos game.
It will be.
That's what I mean. Yeah, chaos. I want chaos under the lights.
7 p.m. The sun's going to be setting. It's not going to be like dark. Maryland Whipsnakes, Philly Waterdogs. The Whipsnakes are horrible. Like I said, they're either going to be 7 or 8 next week when I debut my power rankings. They're catching 1.5 minus 115, plus 130 on the money line. You got to lay 160 for your Waterdogs. Sean, 24.5 low total here. What are we doing? Whipsnakes, horrible trash team.
I think the Whipsnakes are gonna have trouble scoring. Give me the under 24.5. I think Philly cruises. I'll just take the money line here at minus 160. But yeah, I think this is another low scoring affair. I like the Philly defense, and Maryland. Have they got? I mean, Maryland has the only time we have one single digit output so far in this season. It was the Maryland Whipsnakes. Their other game, they only put up 13.
In fairness, that was a trash can battle between Boston and Maryland. So that was like a bottom of the league kind of matchup.
No, I mean, which again, Philly is gonna take out the trash this weekend at homecoming, because we got the Boston Cannons and the Whipsnakes. I think both good spots, both unders, both Philly money line. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Philly on here. I like they don't have time to mess around. They got to sweep up this doubleheader. If you nice little prop play though there if you want in this game there. By the way,
let's hear it.
Because you're gonna have a battle of Philly stars. I already mentioned Michael Sowers. He's a homegrown hero for Philly. But Matt Rambo on the other side for the Whipsnakes, also a Philly guy.
Okay.
He's gonna have a big crowd for him. So it might be 200 people there. Yeah, 100 from Sowers, 100 from Rambo.
Ooh, so who should we play?
I say I'm talking an in-game parlay of Sowers and Rambo. Especially since Sowers will have one under his belt.
Well, I don't see
the nerves will be gone.
I don't see anything
really
for Rambo, but I do see Sowers 4 points.
That's probably because you already put Zed Williams. They can only give you one Whipsnake at a time. You know.
Well, maybe I'll do a Sowers Zed.
There you go. Sowers Zed is fine, but I like Ram. But it has nothing to do with my handicap. But that's fine. You can take the newbie play. I do like the Zed as well.
Oof.
Well, I don't think I like the Kieran McCardle angle for the Waterdogs.
Who doesn't?
Versus
that name is tough to say.
Kieran McCardle.
No, I'm just when saying Waterdogs.
Waterdogs higher 4 points on the Saturday match.
Sars. What's Sars' number? That
4
for the second
4.
game, right?
Yeah. Oh.
So CJ, are you
good
laying the
call. I don't
1.5
know.
or are you taking the money line?
I'm not. I mean, I won't mind laying the 1.5. It's. I still don't have a finger on what to do with these double games, but I think having to buy is going to help early in the season.
Yeah.
I don't mind laying the 1.5, but I'll just take the money line.
What do you like total wise?
Total wise, I think under might be the way to play. Just because.
I got all unders this week.
Yeah,
It kind of makes sense. I
Welcome
think
to
they
the team.
over-adjusted.
I think they overadjusted. I don't like the Whipsnakes at all. I don't like anything about their offense.
They're horrible,
No.
right?
Absolutely.
Kramer, what are you doing? Under in Philly as well?
Got to take. Well, I have been fading the second game for the. And Newbie did seem like the Whipsnakes maybe get going here.
Okay.
I can see that too. The Whipsnakes. I mean, it's definitely a buy
Wait,
low.
let me
Buy
just-
low on the Whipsnakes for sure. But I see this as an ugly.
Certainly value on the whip.
I see this as an ugly 12-11 game type of situation.
Yeah, this is tough because it does seem Maryland's trash. Give me Philly.
Yeah, Waterdogs grind it
Yeah,
out
yeah.
though, for crying out loud.
I forgot. I already made my determination.
This isn't going to be as prolific as the Boston game. See, I think the Boston game actually might go over, even though it's a high number.
6 teams make the playoffs. I'm already eliminating Boston and Maryland.
Wow.
So we might as well just start the playoffs tomorrow.
Okay, I like that.
Well, and
Playing
Boston,
for seeding, boys.
and Boston will be distracted.
6 teams make the playoffs.
They were
Sean.
glazing Tom Brady last night, so
No.
probably emptied the tank there. Not gonna have any fans in the lineup.
They're probably parade routes are going through the practice facilities too for the Celtics. You know
Fire
what
up
I
the
mean?
duck pond.
Yeah,
Or the
get
duck
those. I mean,
boats.
they're distracted. They're worried about the Tatum versus Jalen Brown
think so?
dynamics. Who gets the
Yeah,
MVP?
very tough argument.
Who's a better lacrosse player, Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown? What do you think?
Tatum-
I mean, Jalen Brown. Are you kidding me? Tatum's soft.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a 2 point shot specialist, but come on, he doesn't have what it takes to get in there. Can you imagine Tatum with a long
I was
stick
just gonna
chopping
say.
wood?
Tatum's definitely a long stick middle if I've ever seen one.
Long pole.
Yeah.
No, he's a short pole guy.
think so?
But I know CJ's insulting him
You
by
see-
calling him a long stick middle.
He seems
It's
like
an inside
Yeah,
lacrosse
it's a-
joke.
he has
it's a
long,
laxity.
but he's got-
Lax
he's
guys.
got a
get it.
long pole though. Come on, relax.
That went big in the Maryland region.
Yeah, Big
All right.
Johns Hopkins guy.
We're doing it. Locks and are we calling it a dog or a pole?
How are lax not locks? The lax locks.
Oh,
Lax
wow.
locks.
Yeah, can we just do like a lacrosse stick? X?
All right.
Lax.
Locks.
All right. You want me to go first?
The A through the O. It's LOX. Like bagels and cream cheese. But locks, but the A goes through the O like the anarchy sign.
So I have waited until week 3 to debut my first winning lock of the season. We're gonna lock.
It's nice of you.
Yeah. So we're just gonna like for Philly, for them to get the 2 worst teams for their homecoming, playing both of them. But the Boston game is ridiculous. Philly -115. Lock number 1. Lock number 2. Are we sure the Utah Archers are actually good? Give me
I don't
the
know if we are.
Carolina Chaos plus 130. Thought about taking the plus 1.5, but I'm taking the plus 130. Actually, no. Give me Carolina plus 1.5 because it. Actually, no. Yes.
Yes, meaning
Carolina plus 1.5 because
Okay.
it's the same -115. I got 2 locks that are -115.
okay.
Beautiful.
The pole A. I don't think you need to pole anything when you can take California plus 200.
Ooh, the Woods on the money line. Cali plus 200.
Rock hard.
For me, this is interesting. What do I do here?
If I were you, I'd be smashing a Philly parlay because they're playing trash Ola.
I'm gonna call it the Philly special. Philly wins both games.
Just FYI, we're going to be adding some power ranking columns in the sheet next week. so
Okay, great.
You guys are going to join me. I'm making you.
That is officially my pole. For my locks, let's see. I'll go with.
Boston's 8 by a wide
I
margin.
kind of like Kramer's locks, but I'm
you
looking
can
at his
copy.
lock record, and I don't like being on the same
Do you
side.
remember what happened in the UFL? And you started hot and you were touting your lock record, and then I hit the fucking turbo button and went nuclear.
I do. Well, one way to look at it is you are due for some regression.
Yep.
It's unlikely you're going to finish the year with 0 locks.
Yep, it's true. Hey, we're just got started. You know what? If someone's doubting me because I went 0-4 on my locks so far, they're not a real lax bro.
All right, I'll throw. Oh man,
what's going on over there, Sean?
I'm thinking out. What am I? What am I
got
going to
2 8s, you split, and you get the 3, then you double down.
Okay.
And if all goes well, you got 21, and then hopefully you get another 8 on that 8, so you can split it again.
I'll take the Redwoods plus 2.5 minus 120 as one of the locks.
Oh, look at you being real safe.
Actually,
real safe over there.
No, I'll do Carolina on the money line as one of my locks. So I'm slightly different than
you shouldn't have
Ryan.
let me go first.
And then Philly versus the Cannons is just a lock of all locks. So you gotta put that in
This
there.
Archer's coach wasn't even a pro coach before.
Yeah, come on, he doesn't know what he's doing.
It's not, we got a little. Bet Detective's got a couple assignments.
CJ, what do you got?
Put me on it. This, by the way, this is face dodging for anyone watching on the YouTube.
Yeah,
face dodging.
That's the thing that Lizzo's into, right?
Face dodging. Yeah, lock in that Philly versus Boston. I think that is the first play. I know we're all across the same play.
There also are only 4 games, and we're locking 2 of them.
It's hard not to very.
There's going to be some
could
crossover.
possibly go wrong.
That's the second Philly game. I'm going to go with the under on that as a lock on that.
Okay.
Oh.
So the under 24 and the 24.5 on the Whipsnakes Philly game.
On the Whipsnakes Philly game, on the second game of the doubleheader, a terrible Maryland team. Like I said, it's just an ugly game all the way. Probably a 12-10 as I'm predicting on that one. As far as the poll, let's go big on this. Woo! Let's go money line for those always game California Redwoods.
Okay.
It's a plus 200. Am I getting on that one? And I mean, and of course, you're going to throw my chaos in there. Money line as well. Let's go money line chaos at plus 130 times plus 200. Kramer parlay calculator for me, please, on that one.
I'm working on. Oh boy. All right. I was seeing what kind of limits I could get down on these lacrosse games. $300 is the limit, if you're wondering.
All right.
All right. What do we? I didn't hear the price.
Plus 200 for your California Woods, which is an insult, by the way.
This could be an easy one to calculate.
It should be easy. Multiplying by my chaos, which are plus 130 versus Utah Archers.
Okay, so yeah, I mean we're looking at like a solid almost 7-1. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I'm coming right out. Those are McNeil MVP numbers, 7-1.
Let's see how good I am. Oh, sorry, 6-1.
6-1.
Sorry.
Carolina Chaos, California Woods, the Havels hated rivals.
I like that.
the rival Havels come together for the parlay together, 6-1. Ship that.
Sean, soccer is coming up. I just had a great idea. You could take Pole and you could do Pole. See, that's lacrosse style.
All right, so we got some locks, got some poles. All right.
We got to get a long pole in here. We can't all have short poles.
I know. I think it should be the long pole should definitely be in the middle.
No, just one, and it's like whoever's got the winning picks that week gets the long pole.
It's
earn it.
Like the Fox pregame show where they had like the
except for a stupid dog, it's a long pole like a fucking man, something a man would grip with 2 hands.
We got to paint it gold.
Yeah, or like a trophy. It could be a trophy pole.
All right,
I want to. Yeah, and then we could take the pole home. Like, honey, I'm bringing the pole home.
My wife will be excited. Hey, I'm bringing you the pole. Oh wait, we're gonna have sex? No, we're celebrating my lacrosse picking trophy.
How about this? Now I know we went.
You could celebrate lacrosse wins with sex.
No, who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's lax. They put the X in line. I mean, it's already a sexy word.
Very sexy.
Now we said team last time we put the sticks together.
Oh, yeah.
What are our thoughts on that before we go in there? I was going to nominate roll dodge, which is a lax term for roll dodge.
Don't ask what that means.
roll dodge on 3.
So it's one thing. Roll dodge like that kind of a situation.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Ready?
Roll dodge.
Somewhat, Josh.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Turn that into an animated GIF, please.
Very good GIF.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean. Second the money green. He's Ryan.
I'm thinking a handwritten letter to the league office should start a pretty solid negotiation.
Kramer, let it ride.